Hello. Thank you. Today, about what is spiritual practice? Is spiritual practice for everyone? Or do we need to be part of some institutionalized system with its codes of practice and ritualized sort of things that we follow? Conduct that we need to follow? Codes of conduct that needs to be followed? Or can we just perform any act on a regular basis and systematically to gain insight into our true nature, into true nature of what is? Because that's what spiritual practice is. A systematic, repeated act or acts that we perform in order to realize and experience the true nature of ourselves, the true nature of what is. And because that true nature is spirit, which means non-physical, spiritual, we're all part of the spirit. We experience ourselves as physical beings, but our true nature is spirit. We are part of the spirit, which is not individual, which is not physical. So how do we access this? What sort of a practice do we do? What sort of a spiritual practice do we perform to access this spirit? It's of all different kinds. Some people can just sit and close their eyes and access the spirit. Some people access the spirit through the nature, spending time in the nature, enjoying the vastness of empty spaces in the nature. It doesn't really matter what we do, how we do it, as long as we can access the spirit, the true nature, what is, and become one with that. And it doesn't matter at all what name we give it, because the spirit itself is beyond any names, beyond any human conditioning, mental concepts. How does it matter what name we give it? Absolutely not. It's just a name that resonates with your experience of what is, what truly is. I call it the mind because it resonates with my understanding of the true nature of what is. And because the mind undergoes changes while we're accessing the spirit, it changes. The mind itself changes. It changes from the individual mind, completely centered inside the physical body, experience of the physical body, to the universal mind that is not centered anymore inside the physical body. You see, that's how it happens. I'm just relating now this, I'm sharing with you this personal experience based on a spiritual practice. After you spend some time away from the surface thoughts, the fluctuation of the surface thoughts, and practice no thinking, inside the still part of the mind, that still part of the mind takes over. So one morning I got up and my mind was not my mind anymore. It was not individual in nature anymore. It was not based or centered inside the particular human body. It's just how it happens. It's not something that you do. It's just the changes that the mind undergoes. Once you move deeper and deeper inside into the still part of the mind, away from the surface fluctuations. And so you see, whatever you do to go there, to access that, to move deeper into the mind repeatedly, systematically, is your spiritual practice. You don't need to become part of some institutionalized thing. You don't need to follow some certain codes of conduct and get completely entangled in some mental concepts about what is called what and what is the process of doing that, and drown in even more mental concepts that are fluctuating, that are sort of bound by time and space, that are binding completely. You see, once inside the spirit, there are so many different experiences that can be had. And experience of physical existence centered around a certain physical body is just one of the many, many experiences that we can have as part of the spirit, as part of what is. Because this experience on a physical level is completely binding. It's completely predetermined. There are so many other experiences to be had inside the spirit that are much less binding, that are much freer. And in the end, there is an experience of direct spirit itself, natural mind, as I call it, as is, which is completely beyond any forms and not binding at all. So you see, enjoy the spiritual experiences. Act freely in a way that you access the spirit and understand that what is the true nature, what is a spirit, non-physical. And then practice it the way that suits you the best. Of course, you see first what is out there, what other people who are already experiencing spirit, or what is directly, the ways they say that God did, the ways they recommend, and so on and so on. But in the end of the day, you have to choose your own path, your own way of going there and staying there and progressing on a path to enlightenment, as we call it. It's just another name that suits you, that suits your circumstances. And your mind will change in the way it changes itself. Inside the mind. No one can be inside your mind and tell what changes occur there. Of course, once we're completely one with the spirit, we can access everything, all the shapes and forms inside the spirit, everything. But before that, there is not possible at all to access someone else's mind and to know what is inside that mind. So feel free to stay away as much as possible from mental concepts and find the most direct way suitable for you to access what is the true nature, what is the spirit, non-physical. Do not tie yourself in further knots of mental concepts and then spend time debating these mental concepts that are bound by time and space and sort of trying to, describe something that is in itself nondescript, non-describable, not part of the mental concepts of human conditioning. Not at all. So don't worry about the words you use. Don't worry about the mental concepts. Don't drown yourself in more and more mental concepts trying to describe something that cannot be described. It's just an approximation that we're making. So let's use as few mental concepts as possible. Some are needed at the start, of course, to understand what we're doing, the direction of what we're doing, what we're trying to aim for and stuff like that. But then just drop them more and more until you drop them completely. And that is when you're really one with the spirit, part of the stream. Anyway. This is my few minutes for today. Hope they benefit you in some shape or form, or that they resonate with you in any way that helps you connect directly with what is. Take care. Bye-bye.